The real currency is mindset.*. Let's get one thing straight. It was never just about money. Not for Rockefeller. Not for you, because money without mindset is just chaos with a bank account. The men who built legacies, they didn't start with millions. They started with mental clarity, unshakable principles, and a decision to lead their own lives before leading anything else. Rockefeller understood something most people miss. Your mindset is the mold that shapes your future. Everything else, wealth, influence, legacy, is just the byproduct. That's why this video isn't a financial strategy. It's a spiritual architecture. A map for men who are done surviving and ready to live with purpose. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the guy who works hard but feels stuck. The guy who's spiritually grounded but financially unsure. The guy who knows there's something greater inside him, but can't seem to unlock it. If so, this message isn't hype, it's alignment. You don't need more noise. You need a blueprint, and not just any blueprint, one forged by fire, tested by time, lived by men who built empires with conviction, not chaos. In this video, I'll show you 7 foundational habits inspired by Rockefeller, not for his wealth, but for his wisdom, not for the lifestyle, but for the mental system that built it. Because if you want to think and live like a man of destiny, you've got to stop reacting like a man of distraction. This is your line in the sand. Let's rebuild your mindset from the ground up. Let's go. The Rockefeller framework. Discipline over dollars. Let me tell you something most never realize. Rockefeller didn't build his empire by chasing money. He built it by mastering discipline. While others were chasing opportunities, he was creating systems. While others were spending, he was investing time, energy, and focus. This is the first truth of the blueprint. Discipline is more valuable than income, because a man with discipline can turn little into much. But a man with income and no structure, he'll watch it all disappear. Rockefeller's mindset wasn't reactive, it was rhythm-based. He lived by principles. He tracked habits. He protected his mornings like sacred ground. And he made sure that everything he did aligned with his long-term mission. Now ask yourself, is that how you live? Or are you hoping money will fix what mindset hasn't addressed? You don't need more hustle. You need a frame, a mental operating system that filters your decisions through purpose, not pressure. Rockefeller had what I call the code. And the first line of that code was this: I control me before I try to control outcomes. That's where wealth really begins, not with bigger goals, but with tighter integrity. When you say you'll do something, do it. When you know what matters, protect it. When you find your focus, eliminate what doesn't align. This is not sexy. It's not exciting. But it's where legacies are born. Discipline over dollars. Structure over chaos. Conviction over comfort. That's how Rockefeller thought. And that's where your next level begins. You ready? Let's break down the first habit. This one's about your people. Habit 1. Align your inner circle. Your mindset is not just shaped in silence, it's reinforced in proximity. Look at any powerful man in history, Rockefeller included, and you'll see something in common. They were ruthless about who they allowed in their inner circle. Why? Because your environment is not neutral. It either reinforces your standards or it erodes them. Rockefeller surrounded himself with thinkers, strategists, and men of principle. Not just for connection, for accountability. He knew that if he wanted to lead millions, he couldn't afford to be around those who thought in pennies. Now let's make this personal. Who has your ear? Who do you talk business with? Who do you share vision with? Who do you let speak into your mindset when things feel heavy? Because if they don't challenge your drift, they're part of the reason you're drifting. If they don't stretch your thinking, they're reinforcing your limitations. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your community. So here's the challenge. Audit your circle. Not with emotion. With clarity. Ask, does this person pull me forward or pull me back? Do our conversations lift my standards or lull me into comfort? Would I want to think like them, feel like them, live like them? If not, bless them, release them, and level up your circle, because your legacy can't afford leaky voices. Your destiny deserves high-caliber men who speak life, not limits. Rockefeller didn't rise alone. He rose with alignment. And now it's your turn. Let's talk purpose. Habit 2. Define your core purpose. Purpose is not a slogan. It's not a vague why you recite once and forget. It's the spiritual GPS that drives every decision you make, and without it, you're just reacting to life, hoping the money or success will bring meaning. That's not how Rockefeller moved. He knew exactly why he was building. It wasn't just about oil. It was about legacy, control, and reshaping how the world worked. You need that same clarity, not his purpose, but yours. Because when you don't know your true reason for rising, you'll chase things that don't matter, burn out on goals that don't fulfill, and wake up with money and emptiness at the same time. So let's simplify. Ask yourself, what would I build if I had no limits? Who do I feel assigned to serve? What future would make my children proud? That's where purpose starts. Not in hype, but in vision that transcends ego. Purpose says, this is the kind of man I must become, because others depend on it. Rockefeller's sense of purpose gave him resilience. It made him steady in storms, clear under pressure, strategic when others were panicking. Your purpose has to do the same. It has to become your anchor, your compass, your fuel. And once you lock into it, everything changes. How you spend, how you plan, how you speak, how you show up. So here's your move. Write it, speak it, align to it. Every single day. Because without purpose, discipline is just punishment. But with purpose, it's power. Let's move to the next pillar. Accountability. Habit 3. Establish a rhythm of accountability. Power without accountability is chaos. Ambition without accountability is noise. Even purpose, if left unchecked, can become scattered. That's why Rockefeller wasn't just disciplined, he was tracked. He held himself accountable to metrics, to advisors, to written goals. He didn't rely on memory or mood. He relied on systems. Now listen, this isn't about micromanaging your life. It's about installing a rhythm that keeps you honest, sharp, and consistent. Because without rhythm, success becomes random. Without accountability, goals become decorations. So here's the Rockefeller move. Build a feedback loop. Set measurable outcomes, not just make more, but generate $10,000 monthly from X. Create a review rhythm weekly, monthly, quarterly. Have someone you report to, even if it's just a mentor, coach, or inner circle brother. Why? Because the ego will lie to you. But data doesn't, and trusted counsel won't. This is how real men grow, not in isolation, but with reflection. Problem isn't that you lack goals. It's that you lack friction. Healthy friction, the kind that checks your drift and sharpens your edge. Rockefeller didn't wait for crises to recalibrate. He had rhythms that made course correction normal, not reactive. You can do the same. Make self-review a ritual. Track what matters. Stop relying on pressure to make you move. Instead, let rhythm make you powerful. Because when accountability is normal, results become inevitable. Now let's talk metrics. Not just numbers, the ones that truly matter. Habit 4. Measure what matters. What you measure, you multiply. What you ignore, you lose. Rockefeller didn't guess his way to billions. He didn't hope things were going well, he knew. Why? Because he tracked everything. Cash flow, production, personnel efficiency, market patterns. But more importantly, he tracked what mattered to his mission. And that's where most men fall short. They track money, but not mindset. They track hours, but not energy. They track followers, but not integrity. Let's be real. What are you measuring right now? Your bank balance? Your likes and views? Your to-do list? Cool, but does that reflect your true values? Because if you don't measure based on purpose, you'll end up optimizing for validation, not legacy. Rockefeller had metrics that fed his vision. You need the same. Here's what to start tracking. Mental clarity. How many hours this week did you spend distracted versus focused? Spiritual alignment. Are your decisions consistent with the man you say you want to become? Impact. Who was influenced, helped, or empowered by your work this week? These aren't soft metrics. They're eternal ones, because you can be rich and lost, respected and empty, busy and misaligned, but when you measure what matters, your growth becomes intentional. So build your dashboard. Track your soul, not just your stats. Let numbers serve your North Star, not replace it. That's how you build what Rockefeller built. Not just wealth, but legacy systems. Next up, simplicity. And why most men confuse movement with momentum. Habit 5. Embrace strategic simplicity. Complexity is the enemy of execution. And Rockefeller knew this better than anyone. His genius wasn't just in strategy, it was in simplification. He could take something chaotic and build order. He didn't chase 20 goals at once. He focused with surgical clarity, and that's what most modern men are missing. You're overloading your mind. Too many tabs open. Too many ideas, plans, commitments, and not enough clarity. Let me give it to you straight. You don't need to do more. You need to cut the noise. Strategic simplicity is about eliminating what doesn't multiply. Every Rockefeller move was designed to serve one core objective. If it didn't align, it didn't stay. You've got to do the same. Here's how to apply it. Choose one key project that moves your mission forward. Master it before you multiply. Limit your input. Stop taking advice from 12 different voices. Systemize repeatable tasks so you can focus on creative energy, not busy work. Protect your morning space. First hour, no distractions, only direction. When your path is crowded, your spirit gets cloudy. But when you simplify, your power intensifies. You're not lazy. You're distracted. You're not lacking drive. You're drowning in detail. Strip it down. Get to the core of your mission. Decide what matters this season and cut everything else. Simplicity is not weakness. It's war strategy. Rockefeller built an empire with narrow focus. You'll build yours the same way. Next, the fuel behind the mindset. Growth. Relentless. Intentional. Inner growth. Habit 6. Prioritize personal growth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you've become. And that's why Rockefeller prioritized inner growth with the same intensity he used to scale industries. He didn't just invest in markets. He invested in himself, his mindset, his faith, his habits, his network. Every part of his life was seen as an asset to develop. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men want the results of a millionaire, but they're not willing to become the kind of man who earns, holds, and multiplies wealth. Rockefeller wasn't born wise, he became wise through discipline, study, reflection, and action. You want more in life? Then you need to become more grounded, more focused, more dangerous in the best sense. That means read daily. Not just business books. Read wisdom. Read biography. Read scripture. Reflect weekly. Ask what worked, what didn't, what's next. Cut content that doesn't build you. Surround yourself with men who sharpen you, not flatter you. Invest in coaching, courses, or counsel that challenge you to grow, because your external world will never outgrow your internal ceiling. If your emotional maturity is stuck, if your discipline is sloppy, if your clarity is weak, your income, impact, and influence will always be capped. This is not about becoming a self-help addict. It's about honoring your calling with excellence. Rockefeller didn't just build empires. He built himself into a man who could handle them. So today, build yourself, feed your mind, strengthen your spirit, because your future is waiting for someone ready to hold it. And now, let's talk about the final force behind it all: routine, structure, resilience. Habit 7. Cultivate resilience through routine. Here's what no one glamorizes: the grind, the repetition, the ordinary rhythm that creates extraordinary results. Rockefeller's success wasn't built in breakthroughs. It was built in boring routines done with relentless consistency. He understood that emotions fluctuate, motivation fades. But routine? Routine is what makes a man unshakable. The difference between average men and legendary ones isn't inspiration. It's structure. You need a rhythm that keeps you solid when life gets loud, and that starts with non-negotiables. Your morning sets your mindset. Wake up early, move your body. Feed your mind before the world floods your thoughts. Your calendar reflects your clarity. Don't fill it with distractions. Schedule your mission first. Your evening protects your peace. No scrolling, no mental clutter, just reset, realign, and rest like a warrior preparing for battle. This isn't about perfection. It's about building a system that supports your higher self, not your impulses, because the truth is your dream doesn't need hype, it needs habits. It needs you to show up when no one's clapping, to execute when no one's watching. 2. Stay sharp when everyone else is slipping. Rockefeller knew how to ride emotional storms because his routine was rooted. And that's what you need. A rhythm that protects your power. A structure that supports your greatness. Resilience isn't a feeling, it's a function. And it's built through rhythm. So here's the final call. Choose one habit today. Install it with discipline. Let it build your edge. Brick by brick, day by day. Because once your routine is dialed in, your future becomes undeniable. Let's close strong. Legacy is next. Building legacy through mindset. Let's land this. Brother, you didn't press play on this video just to feel inspired. You pressed play because something deep inside you is done settling. And now you know the truth. It's not about chasing money. It's about becoming the man who magnetizes it. It's about rebuilding your mental operating system. One habit at a time, one belief at a time, one powerful, intentional step at a time. That's how Rockefeller moved. And that's how you rise. Let me remind you, you control who's in your circle. You choose your mission, not your distractions. You decide what gets measured. You eliminate what's not essential. You grow every day. You stay rooted in routines, not moods. And you lead because you were born to. No more drifting. More doubting. No more shrinking from the call. You've got vision. You've got purpose. And now, you've got the mindset map to back it. But here's the thing about maps. They only work if you move. So today, you move. You write it down. You install one new habit. You step into your power not someday, but today. Because God didn't call you to survive. He called you to multiply. This is your time. And legacy is not left to chance. It's built with clarity, conviction, and consistency. Let the world watch. You're not just making money. You're making history. Now go build it.